Hey, what's an STRC nerds here. This is my Losi 810. It's fast, very fast. It's agile, very agile. Flies in the air like a squirrel. And it's very, very durable. First things first, want to give it a quick cleanup. It's very imperative, at least for me, to have a clean vehicle at all times, especially even when I'm working on it. Allows me to inspect things. Additionally, new towel, all that good stuff. It's much better. Alright, so get right down to it. First thing, I recently had a pretty bad crash with it in that this RPM arm right here bent. I was going to switch out anyways. I don't like these arms. They're very rigid, so I'm going to go ahead and put the stock ones back on. However, anytime I do something like this and I break something, which is rare actually for this 810, I like to treat it like a crime scene. I go through everything to see if there's any other sort of damage, and I've seen a few things. Minor things, of course. But right here, you can see obviously we have a bent screw. The bulkhead right here, this screw right here came loose. It was tight right before I drove it. A little hard to see, but this screw right here in the bulkhead came a little bit loose. It was tight before I drove it, I know that. This locking nut right here on the camber link, it's not coming off. I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is bent or what, but at this point, you got to Dremel it off. And that's how you do it. No damage, just got that nut off. Doesn't matter because I'm replacing all the links anyways. As for the screw, no big deal. It's a 540.5 button head. We just come right over here, 540.5. And we get a new one, along with the new nylon nut. So with that, let's jump right to these links. One of the problems is a lot of slop. I mean, a lot of slop, to the point to where it's actually affecting performance. So, and the rod ends and balls in here are actually fairly new. And while I do have quite a bit of new stock ones, what I'm going to do is upgrade to these hard anodized ones, because these are supposed to be incredibly tough and will take out a lot of the slop. We'll see. I know they're expensive. These are like 30 bucks. Got the camber ones done, so I'll put these older ones right here in my backup part. Note to self, steering links are between 46.74 and 47. Next we'll build the all-important steering links. Rock and roll. Nothing like a good fresh set of links. And I'm changing all the links. Another bent hinge pin. So it's important to always have a bunch on stock. Service my shocks. Replacing these RPM arms that I got with some stock arms, some new stock arms. I've been very unhappy with these RPM ones. They're very rigid, they're heavy. The only reason I even had them on there was my assumption that they would increase the durability. The last time I took it out, I was actually going to be replacing them anyway, so I was a little bit happy that they bent, just because, I don't know, it justified that they're not indestructible at least, so I'm not missing any sort of indestructible piece. And I'm not here to say RPM sucks or anything like that, but I have to call it like I see it. So in other words, RPM was not giving me the precise suspension, if I can talk, that I wanted. They were heavier, and they bent. Whereas the stock, and these are new stock and these are the original stock, these gave me the exact suspension that I was looking for. They're lighter, and I ran them for gallons and gallons and gallons. Much worse crashes than these had after a few tanks. They held up. Seems like a pretty easy decision to me. I am going to call RPM though, because I understand they have a lifetime warranty, and it's not going to hurt to have them, just in case I'm in a pinch or whatever, but stock it is. They're lighter and, dare I say, more durable? Sway bar here is showing a lot of wear. Now I'm going to make a new link setup. I'm going to make this out of this. This tank here is in okay condition, but you can see right here where I once lost my mesh, and the spur, not the spur, but the pinion chewed right through it. And it goes. Alright, so here's the front clip in its current condition. There's still some things I'm going to do after I break in the engine. I'm going to, so now I've got the new arms on it, new spindles, new hubs, new links. I'm going to be putting on a new sway bar. I'm also going to change out one of the drive shafts, and of course I'm going to rebuild the front diff. Probably going to go with a little bit heavier oil. I might put some 6-weight oil in it. This chassis here, it's an okay shape. I mean, you can see it's been to the woodshed and back several times, so I went ahead and got a new chassis. At some point I'm probably just going to make a second Losi 810. I've got all the parts to do it. But anyways, let's go ahead and start building up the new chassis. The rear hinge pins are in good shape. Nice little surprise. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a new set of rear hubs. Alright, so got the rear clip built, shimmed nicely, everything on it's good, there's no leaking in the diff. Got the new arms on, new links. I think I put a new drive shaft in. Pinion on it's okay. Let's see, I'm going to be putting on a new rear shock tower. Might try a thicker sway bar, and I think there's one or two other things I'm going to do once I get it broken in. I've really come to like the longer wheelbase on this 810, so you can see here I've got it set. Seems to give me a lot more on-power steering. It's one of those things you wouldn't think makes a big difference, but for whatever reason, it does. The suspension on here feels really good, so I'm happy with that. Boy, it's nice to get rid of those RPM arms. Ugh. So this is the end of part 1. Part 2 will be posted very shortly. In that video, what I'll do is I'll put together the new engine. I got to put the backplate one-way bearing, put on the new Losi clutch, finish this build, and we'll go ahead and break it in. Then, in the subsequent part, I'm going to begin testing out different setups, specifically starting out with shock setups. And you can see I've got a set number of permutations that I want to begin with, and different pistons and springs and oil viscosities, stuff like that. I have to say I'm always really excited about my Losi 810, my beloved 810, but recently I met a gentleman who races SCTE, which is the same platform, and we talked for hours, and I learned a lot. He actually converted, he made one, he converted an 810 into it. And so we talked about just different ways to put it on a diet and durability parts and things such as that. And so it really, really enlightened me on some things that I was concerned about, such as aluminum rear hubs, which I'm now considering. I'm also going to be getting an adjustable rear toe block system. I would say honestly, I'm probably 60% complete of what it will end up being. It's a never-ending process, but I absolutely love it. And whether or not you have an 810, if you've watched the video thus far, thank you so much. And whatever you do have, hopefully you have the same sort of vigor as I do in making it the absolute best it can be. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.
If you look at the nominees, it was a good year for music, for sure. Explain this one to me. Leah Remini and Kirstie Alley apparently in some kind of fight.